Now, with the release of Claude Code and Opus 1.7, it is literally possible to clone and model almost any YouTube channel, whether it's documentary, 2D, history, Pixar, fictional, true crime, or pretty much any other niche. And after hours of research, I found the perfect pipeline you can use to replicate and model any channel in any niche. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the entire process step by step. I'll show you what you need, how to get it, and pretty much everything you need to automate the full process from start to finish. Okay, so the very first thing you're going to need is a channel you want to model. For me, I found this channel called Fern. They mostly use these mannequin-style silhouettes as visuals, and then they build documentary-style stories around them. Now, the next thing you're going to do is head over to your browser and search for Claude Desktop. When you see the option that says Claude Download, go ahead and click on that. Now from here, you just need to pick your operating system. I'm on a Windows, so I'll go with that. But if you're using a Mac, just click on the Mac option and download the Mac OS version. Alright, so once you logged into Claude, what you want to do is click on those three lines at the top left corner of your screen. That opens up the sidebar, and you'll see a few different workspace options there. You'll notice one called Code. That's the one that gives you access to Claude Code. Then there's Chat, which is just the normal Claude Chat interface. There's also a co-work option, but we're not really going to touch that for this. So just switch over to Claude Code. Alright, so once you've got Claude set up and you're inside Claude Code, the next thing you're going to need is the master prompt. You'll find the link for that in the description. Go ahead and open it. Press Ctrl+A to highlight everything. Then right-click and copy the whole thing. Don't miss anything. It's usually pretty long. Then jump back into Claude Code, paste it in, and send it. Now what this prompt does is basically turn Claude into a content engine. It helps it understand how to take a channel and sort of replicate that style for you. Alright, so once you send the prompt, Claude is going to ask you a simple question. What channel do you want to replicate? Now here, you can just type the channel name, and if you've got the link, even better, you can drop the URL in there too. But from what I've seen, the best results come when you actually describe the channel a bit. So for me, I'm going to say something like a 3D documentary channel that makes videos on real-life events and historical content. That way Claude really understands what you're going for. And one more thing, you can also add screenshots from similar channels in that niche. So if I go back to my browser, I can just grab a few screenshots of the kind of content I'm trying to model and use those as extra reference. Now here's the thing. The more channels you can stack into a specific niche, the better your results are going to be. For example, there's this channel called Black Files. It's pretty similar to Fern, but they lean heavily into AI. Their voiceovers, scripting, pretty much everything is automated. So what that means is, the more references you give Claude, the clearer the picture becomes. All you've got to do is drop in those screenshots, maybe add a short description of the niche you're trying to replicate, and then send everything into Claude Code. Once you do that, Claude takes it, processes everything, and figures out exactly what you're going for. Then it starts giving you outputs. Things like channel name ideas, channel descriptions, and even logo and banner prompts you can use to actually brand your channel. So for me, it came up with names like Red Files, Ghost Files, and Black Vault. And not gonna lie, those actually sound really good. They fit perfectly with the kind of channels in this niche. I personally like Red Files and Black Vault the most. If I was starting a channel right now, I'd probably pick one of those. It also gave me a really catchy channel description that I can just paste straight into my channel setup. And on top of that, it even gave me prompts for generating a logo and a banner, which is honestly pretty cool. So just from this step alone, we've pretty much covered the whole branding side of things. Now what I'm going to do next is just type next. Once you do that, Claude moves on and asks you for transcripts. Okay, so transcripts are basically just the script, the exact words people are saying in videos from the niche you're trying to replicate. So if you're trying to build a system where you don't have to write your own scripts, what you really need are model scripts. Now to get those, just go find channels that are already posting the kind of content you like. Once you find one, click on one of their most viral videos. Watch it for a bit, get a feel for how it's put together. Then scroll down to the description, click on More, and you'll see an option that says Show Transcript. Go ahead and click that. Once you do, YouTube will pull up the entire transcript of the video, from start to finish, so you can see exactly what was said in that video. Alright, so once you've got the transcript open, just copy everything. Literally the whole thing. and save it somewhere safe. Now from here, go find another video. Try to pick one that's doing really well, like a popular one with strong views. Do the same thing again. Open it, grab the transcript, copy it, and paste it into a Google Doc or wherever you're keeping your files. And then, just keep repeating that process. Do it again and again until you've got maybe 2, 3, or even 5 transcripts saved up. Honestly, the more you collect, the better. Alright, real quick disclaimer, this is strictly for educational purposes. I'm not teaching or enabling anything illegal here. I'm just showing you how to create channels in any niche you want to model using Claude Code. So, once you've got your transcripts and you've saved them into a PDF like I did, here's what you're gonna do next. Upload that PDF into Claude Code. Once it's uploaded, just type something like transcript attached and send it. Now, Claude might ask you for a couple permissions. Just go ahead and allow them. It needs that access so it can actually read through the transcripts. And here's where it gets interesting. Once it has those model scripts, it starts understanding the pacing, the format, the tone, the cadence, basically how those scripts are built. And from there, it can start generating new scripts that follow that same pattern. Alright, so once Claude Code finishes reading your transcripts, it's going to ask if you want ideas in that niche. Just say yes, you want ideas, and send it. Now once you do that, Claude Code starts generating a bunch of video ideas for you, usually around 15 of them. And if you actually read through the titles, you'll notice they match the exact style you're going for. You'll see stuff like, The Teen Who Hacked NASA from His Bedroom, or The Spy Who Sold the West to the KGB for 20 years. Just that same kind of vibe we're trying to replicate. So from here, it's pretty simple. Just go ahead and pick one idea you want to work with. Alright, so for me, I'm picking idea number 1. The teen who hacked NASA from his bedroom. I'm just going to type 1 into the prompt box and send it. Now once you do that, Claude Code gives you a full breakdown of how your video is going to look. It covers everything. The niche, the target audience, the hook style, the script flow, the tone. Basically a full analysis of the kind of content you're about to make. After that, it's going to ask if you want a script. For me, yeah, I want the script. I've already looked through the overview it gave me, and everything checks out, so I'm good to go. One small thing I like to do here. When I ask for the script, I include a word count in brackets. So I'll say something like 2,000 words. That part actually matters, because the length of the script directly affects how long your video is going to be. Alright, so here's a quick way to think about length. Roughly every 200 words gives you about a 1-minute video. So if you go for something like 2,000 words, you're looking at around a 10-minute video. From there, it's just basic math. You can scale it however you want, depending on how long you want your video to be. So if you're aiming for, let's say, a 20-minute video, you'd want around 4,000 to maybe 4,500 words. Now, once you send the request, Claude Code starts writing the script for you. And as you can see, it's actually following the same tone and cadence as the model scripts we gave it. It's structured properly, includes timestamps. Everything looks really on point. And honestly, one thing I really like about Claude Code is that it doesn't limit you the same way other models do. You can push it up to like 5,000 words if you want, which is a huge win if you're trying to make longer videos. Not gonna lie, this script actually looks really good. It genuinely feels like something you'd see on a proper model channel. So yeah, from here, just copy the whole script and paste it into a Google Doc or somewhere safe so you don't lose it. Alright, so from here, just type next to move on to the next part of the pipeline. Once you do that, you'll land on stage 7. And this is where you add your sample visuals. Now, these are basically anything that shows the kind of style you want. Could be images, silhouettes, even short video clips. Just something that represents the look you're going for. And the easiest way to get these? Just go back to the model channels you're trying to replicate and take a few screenshots. That's usually enough to give Claude Code a solid idea of what your visuals should look like. Alright, so at this point, just grab a few screenshots from videos, like 3, 4, maybe 5, and save them on your computer. The key thing here is this. The more examples you give Claude Code, the better it understands what you're going for. So don't stress it, just pick some solid screenshots that match the style. Once you've got them, go ahead and upload them into Claude Code. For me, I already have visuals I like. They're these glossy mannequin-style shots with mannequins wearing police uniforms. kind of similar to the channel I'm trying to replicate, so I'm just gonna upload those. Quick heads up though, Claude Code only lets you upload up to 5 images, so keep that in mind. Alright, I've added my 5 images. Now I'm just gonna type images attached and send it. Once you do that, Claude Code basically studies those visuals and understands the style you want. It learns how to prompt image models to recreate that same look. Now, if you're a bit more advanced with coding, you can connect something like a Nano Banana API to automate all your image generation, which is pretty powerful. Claude would just handle everything for you. But if you're a beginner, don't worry about that at all. Just use any external tool to generate your images and keep it simple. So yeah, once Claude understands your visual style, all you've got to do next is say, I need prompts for my script. Alright, so once you ask Claude Code for prompts for your script, here's where it gets really cool. What it does is go through your entire script and figure out how many scenes are actually in there. So in our case, we had a 2,000-word script, and Claude analyzed it and came back with about 167 scenes for the full 10-minute video. And honestly, that's huge, because now you can create visuals that match every single part of your script instead of just guessing. Another thing I really like about this is that Claude Code doesn't really hold back on output. It can generate super detailed prompts, like 500 to even 1,000 words, just for your visuals. So if you're thinking bigger, like making longer videos with hundreds of beats, maybe 700 or 800 scenes for something close to an hour, Claude can actually handle that pretty easily, and that's something you don't usually get with other models, since they tend to have limits on how much they can generate in one go. Alright, so right now, Claude Code is basically doing its thing, just running in the background and writing out every single image prompt you'll need to match your script. Now, quick note for the more technical people. If you've got an API key for something like Nano Banana or Wave Speed, you can actually plug that into Claude Code and have it generate all your images automatically. Like, it'll go through every prompt, create each image, and even store all of them on your computer. So in our case, that's like 167 images done for you. But yeah, that part is a bit more advanced. And not gonna lie, it usually costs money since you need to pay for access to those APIs. And just so you know, an API is basically how different software tools talk to each other. We'll get into all of that in another video. For now, don't worry about it. Just let Claude Code run and finish generating all the prompts you need for your images. Alright, so once you've got all your prompts, the next thing you're gonna need is an image generator. Now, if you're on a paid plan, or you don't mind spending a bit, you can use tools like Pixfield or OpenArt. Those give you access to models like Nano Banana, Seedream, or Flux Pro, and those are really good for getting high-quality, realistic images. But if you're going the free route, no problem. You can use stuff like Image Effects, Whisk, or Google Flow. Personally, I'd say go with Google Flow or Whisk. And here's why. They let you upload a reference image before generating anything. That part is huge, because once you give it a reference, the model really understands the style you're going for and keeps your visuals consistent. I'll break that down properly in a second. Alright, so Claude just finished giving me all the prompts, and wow, it's a lot. It gave me about 167 prompts, which is honestly pretty crazy. Now, to actually generate your images, you're gonna need an external platform like we talked about earlier. So what I'm gonna do is copy my first image prompt, just copy it, and then head straight to my browser. From here, you can use platforms like Flow, WISC, or ImageFX if you're sticking to free tools. But quick heads up, most of these platforms have limits, and from what I've seen, some of them might even get discontinued by April 30th. So yeah, just keep that in mind. That said, Flow is still a really solid option. I think the subscription is around $2, and it unlocks a lot more. Plus, you usually get about 150 credits for Nano Banana, which is pretty useful for generating your images. So I'm just going to create a new project in Flow. Once you're in, go over to the Model section. Here, you can choose what you want to use. Nano Banana Pro, or even Imagen 4. For me, I'm going to go with Nano Banana 2. Then I'll just paste in my prompt, and we're good to go. Alright, so once I've pasted the prompt, I'm just going to send it. Give it a couple seconds, and you'll get an output that looks like this. Now, this one is more like a background image since it's showing the intro part of the script. And honestly, it looks really good. So I'm just going to download it. Next, I'll head back to Claude Code and look for a scene that actually features a person. I'm gonna grab the second prompt, highlight just that section, and copy it. Quick heads up here. Don't right-click and hit copy message, because that's gonna copy everything. What you want to do is select only the part you need, and then press Ctrl+C on your keyboard. Once that's copied, go back to Flow, paste it in, and then just send it to generate your next image. Alright, so this is what the next output looks like, and as you can see, it pretty much matches the style of the model channel. It looks really good. Not gonna lie, it's kinda crazy that this came from just one prompt. Even the small details like the posters on the wall look super realistic. Overall, the quality is really solid. Now, one thing I really like about Flow is this. If you start getting inconsistent results, you can just use a model reference. So for example, I can click on this image as my reference, and then change the prompt to something like, have the character sitting in a movie theater, watching a movie with popcorn in his hand. Once I said that, Flow keeps the same character, but changes the setting. And that's actually really powerful, because now you're not starting from scratch every time. And honestly, with the way Claude rates these prompts, this whole process becomes really easy. Anytime you see a prompt that involves your main character, like the mannequin, you can just reuse that reference from one of your generated images. That way, you keep the same character across different scenes, and your results stay consistent without you doing anything complicated. So yeah, that's pretty much how you go about generating your images. Alright, so you can also use something like image effects. Let me show you real quick. If I go back, copy one of my prompts, and paste it into image effects, you'll see the output actually looks really good. Image effects is honestly pretty cool. The results come out clean and impressive, but there is a downside. It might not even be available after April 30th, so yeah, keep that in mind. Also, one big limitation is that you can't upload a reference image, and that matters a lot, because without a reference, it's harder to keep your visuals consistent. That's why I always lean toward Google Flow. Whisk is there too, but it's not really as strong in my opinion. Google Flow just wins overall, especially when it comes to keeping things consistent. So, yeah, that's pretty much how you generate your images once Claude gives you the prompts. Now, from here, just head back to Claude, type next step, and send it to move forward. Now, this takes you to step 9, which is the video prompts. Basically, these are the animation prompts you use with your images to turn them into actual videos. Now, quick thing to keep in mind, this step isn't always needed. It really depends on the kind of content you're making. Some niches don't even require animation, so you can skip this part if it doesn't apply to you. You'll also see that Claude gives you an option here. It'll ask if you want video prompts for your niche. So you can just say yes if you want them, or no if you don't. For me, I'm gonna need video prompts, so I'm just gonna say yes. But yeah, just keep in mind, not every niche needs this, so you can always skip it if it doesn't apply to what you're doing. Now, once you type yes, Claude basically goes back through your script and all the image prompts it gave you, and then starts generating animation prompts for every single scene. These are what you'll use to turn your images into videos. Now, if you're still using Google Flow, here's what you do. Go to the Nano Banana section and switch from the image mode to the video model. Once you switch that, the whole interface changes, and now you've got a video setup to work with. From there, you can start generating videos using the VOT model. And honestly, this is such a cool feature. This is why I really like Google Flow. Everything's just in one place, and it makes the whole process way easier. Now, quick heads up. Even though Nano Banana is free on Google Flow, the VOT video model isn't. It costs about 20 credits each time you generate a video, so just keep an eye on that. If you're on a paid plan, you've got more options too. You can use models like Cdance, or whatever's available on platforms like Hagefield or OpenArt. So it really depends on what you want to work with. From here, it's pretty simple. Once you've got your image, just upload it back into Google Flow, copy the video prompt Claude gave you, paste it in, and you're good to go. So just copy the prompt Claude Code gives you, head over to Google Flow, paste it in, and send it. Now if we jump back into Claude Code, you'll see it gave us about 167 animation prompts. And that's because it remembers we had around 167 scenes earlier, which is honestly really cool. It means that every single image you created can now be turned into a video if you want. So everything lines up perfectly. You don't have to guess anything. It's all mapped out for you. Now, if you're more on the developer side, you can actually plug in something like a VOD API and automate the whole thing. If you've got APIs for certain platforms, you can connect them to Claude Code, and it'll handle everything, from generating images to turning them into videos. But yeah, that part gets a bit technical. If you're just starting out, don't worry about it. Just stick with external tools like Google Flow for now, because adding APIs can make things way more complicated than they need to be. So yeah, just keep it simple and follow the process we've been using. Alright, so what Claude Code is basically doing for you as a beginner is giving you every single detailed prompt you need. From there, you just plug those into different tools. 11 Labs for your voiceover, Nano Banana for your images, and VOD to turn those images into videos. Once everything's ready, you can bring it all into CapCut, edit it together, and you'll get a really solid result. Now, after sending all of the prompts to VOD, this is the kind of result we get. And honestly, it looks really good, especially for an intro. Let's try another one real quick. I'm going to animate a different image, the one where he's standing in front of the screen. So I'll just drag that image into the start frame in Google Flow, then head back to Claude Code, copy the prompt for that specific scene, come back, paste it in, and send it. Alright, so after a couple minutes we get an output that looks like this. And honestly, it looks really good. You've got the camera zooming into the computer while text is being typed out, then it pans over to the mannequin's face. It matches the style of those model channels really nicely. So yeah, this is basically how you turn your images into videos and handle your visuals using these external tools. Now once you're done with all that, just head back to Claude and type next in your prompt box. At this point we've already covered the script, the images, and the video animation. So what comes next is where everything starts coming together. Alright, so once you type next, Claude Code takes you to stage 10, which is the thumbnail part. Now here, you're going to need to upload some sample thumbnails. Basically, examples of the style you want your thumbnails to look like. The easiest way to do this is just go to the model channels you're studying, find some of their best thumbnails, and take a few screenshots. If you already have some saved on your computer, that works too. But most people just grab them directly from those channels. For me, I've already got mine ready, so I'm just going to upload them. These are the kinds of thumbnails I want to replicate. Quick heads up, Claude Code only lets you upload up to 5 images here, so make sure you pick your best ones. Alright, so I'm just going to pick these 5 images, click open, then type thumbnails attached, and send it. Now once you do that, Claude Code basically studies those thumbnails and figures out the style you're going for. It understands everything. The text, the silhouettes, the lighting, the pacing, even how the text is placed and how the background is set up. It pretty much reverse engineers the whole thing. After that, it gives you a bunch of thumbnail ideas you can use for your video. And the cool part is, these are all concepts that actually fit your niche and would work well. So from here, it's simple. Just pick the one you like. Once you've chosen, you can ask for the full prompt. For me, I'm just gonna say, give me the full text-to-image prompt for concept 3, and send it. Alright, so once you've picked your concept, Claude Code gives you the image prompt you need to create that thumbnail. Now, if you want, you can ask it to generate prompts for all the concepts. For me, I only wanted concept 3, so that's what I went with. Once you've got your prompt, just highlight everything, copy it with Ctrl+C, and head over to something like Google Flow. Then switch to the image model and paste it in. Now here's a little trick to get better results. Attach a model reference. This could be one of the thumbnails you grabbed earlier, or any image that matches the style you're going for. It helps the model understand exactly what you want, so your output comes out way closer. So what I'm doing right now is uploading a model thumbnail I want Nano Banana to follow. Then I'll paste in my prompt, select that reference, choose how many outputs I want, I'll go with 2, set the aspect ratio, and then send it. Alright, so after a couple seconds, this is the kind of output we get, and yeah, it looks really good. It's cinematic, the style matches, the text is on point, everything just fits together nicely. Not gonna lie, this is basically ready to go. You don't even need to edit it. You can literally upload this straight to YouTube as your thumbnail. So yeah, I'm just gonna download it. Now quick tip, you can generate as many thumbnails as you want. If you don't like what Claude gives you, just ask for another concept or tell it to tweak something. You're not stuck with one result. A lot of people forget this, but it works like a chatbot. If something's off, just tell it and it'll adjust. So yeah, at this point you've seen everything. How to get good scripts, generate images, animate them, and now create thumbnails. And honestly, this is really powerful. It makes the whole process way more accessible, as long as you're actually willing to put in the time and follow through. Alright, so once you're done with everything, you can go back to Claude Code and just type next again. Now what this does is pretty cool. Claude will ask if you want to save everything you've done into a Google Doc. That includes your branding brief, your style DNA, your full script, which is about 1,900 words, plus all 167 image and video prompts, and even your thumbnail concepts. This is really useful if you're working on multiple projects and want to keep things organized. For me, I don't really need it right now, but if you do, just say yes. Once you do that, Claude will create a file on your computer with all of that saved in plain text, which is super convenient. And yeah, that's pretty much it. In the next video, we're going to take this even further. I'll show you how to create full videos from start to finish with voiceovers and more advanced animations, all using Claude. We'll also bring in APIs so Claude can basically run the whole system for you. Alright, that's it for this one. Have a good day.